We did. Oh, there it goes. We're
We're
back.
back.
Oh, I'm clapping.
Dude,
That's
you're
right.
clapping. Dude,
I forgot
are you
already.
okay
I
today?
thought it was you. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going through a little bit of chaos in the Yamabe
Yeah,
household.
yeah.
Just so that I mean, it's please send whenever there's a bad event and people send thoughts and prayers and then there's a whole segment and people goes, well, that doesn't do anything. Well, actually, we would actually appreciate it because we are Christians and we would appreciate your thoughts and prayers. My sister's husband, my brother-in-law, he passed away this morning. He's been battling cancer for like 10 years, kidney
Yeah.
cancer. And so we're Emmy and I are going to have some light-hearted conversation, but we have a heavy heart because we will miss Uncle Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah,
it's sad too because my cousins Jared and Ryan, they're losing their dad.
yeah.
That's tough. But on the brighter side, I mean, I still remember however many years ago it was when he first got the diagnosis and he was told that he wouldn't even be able to see his youngest son graduate high school, but now he's seen both of his sons graduate college. So
The worst prognosis was that he wasn't. Might not even see Jared. I mean, the oldest son
yeah,
graduate high school, and he got to see his youngest graduate college. So yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot. Yeah, it ended up being he was there for lots of events that we didn't expect him to be. But yeah,
yeah,
it's still not a fun time. Like
yeah,
there's still a heavier mood around. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But thoughts and prayers to them.
Yes. So you were at a wedding last week,
I was
so
at
we
a
didn't record.
oh, I can't wait. This
Tell
is
me.
this is gonna be an update of all updates because there was a lot of stuff that happened this past weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do like so just it's art too, right? So there's artist things. So one of the things and people as an introduction to you, you like to do when you're around lots of people and it gets awkward, you like to draw stuff.
Oh,
And
I
that's
don't
your
do
like
that.
your huh?
I haven't been doing that as much.
Oh, you haven't been doing that. Oh,
No.
I thought because so like usually like you used to at like big events something you just draw stuff for like the kids or something just to like to
Well,
keep it,
okay, well, that was what I did when I first met, all of John's family at
yeah.
once,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That was a lot, and I clearly wasn't prepared for all the chaos that was gonna ensue, but in that, I was, yeah, like, obviously, I know now that it's not always socially appropriate to just, like, sit in a corner and draw and stuff and not interact with people. Plus, this is my at the time, boyfriend's family who I'm very serious about, so I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna be
Well,
here, be
I didn't. I
present."
didn't think. I thought you. Well, I thought you didn't do it just to avoid. I thought you did it like as an icebreaker too, to like get them to know, like get them
Yeah,
to know a little bit about you, kind of thing too.
yeah, maybe when I was younger, yeah, but
Oh,
I mean, now, no,
became a
not really. I think,
okay.
part of it is also entertaining kids because I'm also work as an art teacher, and so I found through art I can like interact with kids a lot better, and so that's an easier way for me to create an icebreaker for my interaction with kids, especially like John's nephews and nieces. So yeah.
Okay, that part of, but just doing art to like
No.
kind of, okay,
I
got you,
don't do
I
that.
got you, got
I
you.
have
Okay,
not done that
okay.
in a while.
Sorry,
Yeah.
going back to the wedding.
Yeah, although I wasn't
How big
drawing at
was
my
it?
own wedding, dad. You would have
No,
seen
no,
that,
that would have been awesome.
That would have been so funny.
That
Just
would have
like,
been
"Oh,
so
we wanna
awkward.
talk to the bride." Oh, she's in
Oh,
the
she's
corner
drunk.
drawing.
Oh my gosh, that would have been
See?
ultimate
So
Emmy.
I don't do it. Yeah, I'm getting better.
Good job. You are awesome. Good job getting better. Always improving. That's how, like one
Anyway,
of dad's
so no,
things
this
too.
weekend there wasn't any drawing.
Okay. Woo. Wow. You've advanced.
This is
Milestones. Sorry. So I just took you way away from you where you
I don't
wanted
even
to
know where I am anymore. Okay, yeah. So we were
go at the wedding.
so this past weekend we were yeah, so we stayed at John's oldest sister's house
Okay.
with her and her boys and stuff. And during this time like there was some events happening in the nephews' lives too cuz they're in high school. One of them's a
Uh-huh.
senior, one of them's a sophomore now. But they're both active in sports. And so and then now it's homecoming season and one of them plays
Oh, yeah.
football. So they had the big Hoko game.
Oh, did you
Unfortunately
guys go?
though what?
Did you guys go?
Oh no, we didn't go because Friday was the day of the wedding and that was also the same day as the Hoko
Oh,
game.
wow.
And it mixed up together. But then penultimately, there was rain, and so they had to cancel the game anyway. Um, so yeah, but at that point, John's sisters and then they had already declined going to the wedding because they wanted to support the son, and then well, didn't happen. So then they just hung out. But then eventually they did have his game another day. So yeah. Anywho, um but John and I would have gone to that game the next day, except for the fact that we had already scheduled time to go and hang out with John's friends for Oktoberfest at a nearby bar. So there was a lot of stuff. But anyway, yeah, the wedding. So for me, obviously, this was the most people that I never knew, that I didn't know at all.
Sorry,
Didn't
how
know.
big was it? How big was the wedding?
Um, I wanted
Similar to
it
yours?
wasn't it wasn't that big. It was probably
Okay.
less than the number of people that we had.
Okay.
So probably like 60 to 70-ish people.
Okay.
Not super crazy. Plus, I mean, this the wedding wasn't done in a church, it was done in a barn. So there was like a whole thing where, once the bride walked up to the altar, then like the barn doors open and the
The barn doors open. Woo!
I'm sorry. I mean,
Sorry.
I all I'm gonna say about that is, this was probably one of the whitest things I'd ever experienced. Like, wow, it
The
was
barn doors open.
barn
Yeah,
doors
that doesn't
open.
happen out in
I was half
California.
expecting some doves to fly out or
Got
something
you. Yeah.
crazy. Um, and then there was a female pastor, and they were claimed to be like some sort of Lutheran church. I don't know. It
The
was
ELCA or
it was a
something,
little
right?
bit strange, and then, she has a sermon, and I put it in quotes because there was no mention of Jesus in there. It was just, "You make love and happiness your own. You define what it is for yourself." And I'm like, "That's literally my Uncle Tim. This is no, I don't like this." This was exactly what I didn't want for my wedding, so, yeah. But ultimately, like, one of the best parts was the father of the bride's speech.
Best
Yes.
part? Are you going best parts in quotes or was
No,
is
no,
it
no,
like
this
oh,
was
it was
actually the
good.
best part.
Okay, okay.
It was great. Like, it was also, like, my favorite part of my wedding too. Like, your
Okay.
speech was great.
Okay.
Like, the dad comes up and he's just like, "Well," and he says all these great things about, the couple and stuff, and then he's like, "Yeah, but, what was really great for me was, my daughter finally brought a guy home who had a job." So
Oh, wow. I did not bring up any of anybody other than John.
no, but I mean no,
Wow.
it was really funny,
It's like,
and
woo.
it just I don't know. Up until that point, we were kind of just going through the motions of the wedding, like, okay, this is all happening. I don't know. They also, I think, there were parts where they were a little bit ahead of time or like behind times in some areas. So then the social hour turned into like 2 hours. So we were
Okay.
just kind of, and I'm like, I can't socialize since I don't know anybody here, and except for some people that I briefly met at my wedding. So I don't know. Um, yeah, but then after that, then everything fell into place pretty much. I guess the only other thing was in the barn, like, they had all the tables set up, so we were all sitting, so we sat in the same places for the whole time. It's for the ceremony, for the
Oh, okay.
food, for the social, for everything, and yeah, but then the head table, they ended up moving for when the dance floor came up, and then the dance floor was pretty much just that small space where the head table was, so I don't know how much of a dance floor it was, but hey, I and while I'm saying all this stuff, this is just me saying things that like just
Come
coming from having a great experience at my wedding and the things that we did at my wedding. If this is what they wanted and
Yep.
this made them happy, that's awesome. Not my thing.
That's yeah, that was always for your wedding planning, it was, it's what you guys wanted, right?
Yeah.
We tried. Well, especially dad, but dad always does this. It's like I'm not going to tell you what you want, what to do, because it's like
No.
I
Yeah.
don't have any opinion. If it's going to make you happy, that's what the whole thing,
Sure.
But of course, like we talked about this when you were going through this, is like there are aspects that you kind of like you have to do, and it's
Yes.
not, it's like, but it's, and you had this little bit of stress. I remember we talked about this. It's like, it's one day though. It's like it's the things that you have to do. It's like, yeah, I really don't want to do it. I don't like it at all, but it's like it's one day. It's John and you, and then you're done with that, and then you go on with your lives, and
Yes.
everything will be, your lives are fine and everything like that, and you can
Right.
just ignore all the parts you didn't like to do.
Yeah. But then as someone who's not whose wedding it isn't, and I'm going to one, I'm like, I'm gonna point out the things that I don't like about this.
What you can do, sure.
Yeah.
You're like, cool.
Um, yeah,
Not
and
my
John
thing.
and I were
Like you
even
said,
joking.
not my thing. It's they wanted it,
No,
and that's
yeah,
cool. But
and
it's just like
obviously
I didn't.
they seem to have a great time. They had a
Yeah.
great time, and that was awesome, and they got married. They're good. Yeah, and then, like, we didn't interact much with the groom and all, because I don't think John even really knew much about him,
Mm.
but then, like, we interacted a bit with the bride, John's
So which
cousin.
cousin is? This is a cousin of John's, right?
Yes. The
How is it a cousin? Not yet. Sorry,
I need to ask John to
Oh,
draw out a tree for me, because
okay.
this is kind of like with mom's side of the family, where,
Oh,
like, mom
it's like cousins, ages differences, and stuff like
a
that
lot
messes
of
things
things, a
up.
lot of things. It's like mom, because for context, mom's mom is the youngest of 6 kids, right?
Y- Yeah,
And then they have all their kids, and then they all their have their kids,
yeah.
and then that's just a
And so
whole
mom has cousins that are way older than her,
yeah.
and their cousin,
So
and then like,
that's like John's side of the family, but
okay,
yeah, because his dad has 4 other siblings just like John does, and then John also has so there's a lot of people, but yeah, I think it's so they have an Aunt Laura too. So it's Aunt
oh,
Laura, and then she's married to, I forget what the dad's name was. But they yeah, but they didn't don't have their own children. I think they adopted Anna, and that became part of their story, and that's what they were talking about in their
mm,
wedding.
mhm,
Um yeah, so they're very nice family, but that's pretty much all that I know.
okay.
Um
But you got it was there was socializing.
for
How
2
did you do social?
hours.
How did you do in socializing? Like what?
Well, we kind of just stuck with our little table, which was
Oh,
John's cousins, John's cousin, yeah, his cousin, and then her parents, which are Uncle Matthew.
oh, sweet. Oh, Uncle Matthew has kids.
Yes,
I
he
did
has
not know that. I
2.
mean, I assumed he did, but I didn't. I didn't. We yeah. Okay. We
Yeah,
didn't meet them at your wedding, right? They didn't come. They weren't at your.
you they did come to the wedding.
Oh, they did.
They were
I
all
don't. I
3 were
don't think
there.
I met them. I don't
Yeah.
know if I met
So
them.
one of them was the one whose husband that I met, who was Korean.
Oh, oh yes, you've told. Oh, that's the
That's
Korean.
them.
I didn't. I don't think I met him
Really?
at your wedding. No, I
Oh,
don't
well,
think
he
anyone
wasn't there
introduced.
at the wedding, but the daughter was. No, no, no.
Oh, okay,
That
okay,
guy wasn't there. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, which
Oh,
by the way, he wasn't at this wedding either. And so
oh, she's.
I was making a joke with Julia, the daughter, and I was just like, so does he need to be the token Asian in every room? Is that why he can't be? Yeah.
No, but oh, that's fascinating. I'm just thinking back, Uncle Matthew, and
Yeah. Do we want to tell the story?
no, we're not talking about that now. No, no, no. That's a private side of the family thing. We don't. That's like it's not. It's awesome, but it's not something that we. I need to talk to you about this some other time. I'm like, I did not know that it was Uncle Matthew.
I know. No, it makes it extra funny. This is an inside
Extra,
joke,
extra
but it does
crazy.
make
Yes.
it extra funny.
Oh my
Also,
gosh.
look, Belle's here.
Oh, hello. Oh, she's playing with the little. Oh, yay! We got background Belle.
It finally happened.
Street. Oh, hey, Belle.
What?
Oh, sorry. Oops, my bad.
She,
Scared her off.
I think I've explained this before to you privately, but basically, Belle, she doesn't quite understand how technology works. And so when she hears a voice, no matter where it comes from, she's like, "So someone's here. Who? Where are they?" I'll be on FaceTime with mom, and she'll come into the room like, "Who's here? Who's here?"
I think my voice scared her away, obviously.
Oh,
She ran
yeah.
away.
Oh gosh.
As soon as I said hello, Belle, she ran away.
Yeah, she's freaking out right now. Anyway, yeah, so that's
Okay.
Uncle Matthew's kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to. Oh, I'm very much. I want to meet this guy so much now. I just want to meet. I just want to like
Just ask
hang
him
out.
like, how was it meeting your father-in-law?
I just so want to meet this guy. I'm just. We got to have like another family thing just so that we can like meet. I just. Deep breaths.
Just go, no, honestly, just go and visit them. Yeah, just yeah. I mean, well, okay, I think they
Wait,
might
where
be
do they
getting deployed
live?
pretty soon because they are in the military. I
Oh,
don't
that's what.
know
Yeah,
where.
that's. I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Things
That's
might be
something along
complicated
those.
there, but where
Yeah, some point where
we
when
have
he's
to,
I'm meeting this guy. Yes,
we have to
and
meet.
his last name's Park.
Yeah.
Yes, there. Sorry.
It's all the good stuff, and he's from the West Coast too. So yeah. Oh man, if only the people knew why this was so funny. But no, that's
It's
too
okay.
much. That's too much.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much. A
Oh
little
my
too
god.
much. That's okay.
No,
So,
this is good. We're having
okay.
fun. We're having fun.
Yes. So wedding was good.
Yes.
Travel. How was traveling back and forth? Was okay. You
Traveling
guys
went
was okay.
very smoothly. Yeah.
Okay.
We just yeah, because John and I packed very lightly because it was only for the weekend. So I only had like my one carry-on bag, and then he had his backpack. So yeah.
Hey, you said it. Did you hear yourself?
Oh no,
You got,
guys, it's
you got
happening.
influence. You said
Big.
it. I heard you. I heard you say it.
Yeah, I had my carry-on bag. No.
Sorry. It's just, wow. Okay. Anyway,
Glad this is
so how is? Did you see Pastor and Lori?
yes, yes,
They
we
were there.
did.
How are they doing?
But then they had to they pretty much right after the wedding they left because they had to go to I think another wedding and then they had
Oh, Friday, Saturday, and then back home to church.
oh, so here's the thing. They didn't go back home.
Oh, okay,
Because then Pastor also had another conference, and this is the next part of the story that I'll get to. But
okay.
Pastor had a conference that was around the Fort Wayne area, so then
Oh,
they
okay.
ended up staying with us after
Nice.
we got back, and yeah, so we had officially our first guests over, and I got to cook for our first guests, my in-laws, and I was terrified, but it went very well. But anyway, before I get
Okay.
to that,
Okay.
the other little part. So I have an announcement.
You have an announcement.
John and I are going to be godparents
Oh, nice.
because his youngest sister is having another baby, and she asked us. I think yeah,
Oh.
right after we had gotten back from the wedding, she had come down and asked us if we wanted to be the godparents. We were like, yes, of course.
So did they are they finding out what the what?
I don't know, and even if I did, I wouldn't say it on here.
Oh yeah.
So
That's not,
yeah,
yeah. I didn't know. I was like going off if there's like a like if you're figuring out
yeah.
nickname like Vinny because it's
I
Vinny the
honestly don't
Pooh
even
and
know if they found out for their firstborn, so
yeah, true.
I have no idea. But either way, that's
Okay.
not my business. That's
Yeah.
their thing.
Sorry. Yeah,
But
just if they did tell you.
yeah,
That's all.
curiosity. Yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, we're gonna be godparents.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Yay.
And
Yay.
it was very funny how it all went down because they at one point like because John is already a godfather to his older
One of the boys.
brother's one
Ooh,
of his daughters,
okay.
and so then like the older sister was kind of joking with me like, oh no, actually we're just asking Emmy. We'll just have Emmy do it. And I was like, oh no, I don't what? And they were like, no, you two together. We're asking both of you. I'm like, okay, good. So I don't even know the first thing about being a godparent, but okay. Oh yeah, but very exciting. And then afterwards, so that was all Friday. Then Saturday we went to a bar, and there was an Oktoberfest event happening there, and so John has two of his friends in that area who drove up to go and meet us there, and so we got to have a little happy hour with them. More like
Nice.
happy 3 hours, but it was fun. And then after that, yeah, then we left really early Sunday morning to get back on our flight and then come back to our home. And then we had Pastor and Lori come over and they spent a couple nights here. I cooked for them. They really liked my food. I also cooked a new dish.
Did you cook?
It was salmon and couscous dish
Ooh.
with some vegetables and some lemon zest and juice on top of it.
You really like your salmon. I must say
I
that.
do like my salmon. I really like fish. I'm realizing
interesting.
as like my
Oh.
primary meats, and then like
Huh.
I think
Good to know.
pork is good too. I don't know.
Okay.
I think
Awesome.
I've been learning that. Yeah. John likes his beef.
Don likes to be okay.
John likes his
That's
beef.
good to
He enjoys fish too. Definitely not as much as me, and definitely not. He likes it cooked.
know. Oh yeah. So do you have poke every once in a while? You get your poke
Oh,
fix every
so
once in
this
a
is also the fun part. So
while? Okay.
okay, so I'm actually gonna ask you about this because
Oh.
so you remember when you made your spam musubi, but then you switched out the nori for something else?
Yeah, it's there was some other kind of it's another kind of wrap. I forget
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was
something.
gonna ask you about that because,
I
so I
find it.
found
I'll
out
find it.
that, Pastor doesn't like nori,
Okay.
but Lori doesn't mind it.
It's a soy wrap.
It's a
It's a
soy
soy
wrap,
wrap.
okay,
It's a soy wrap. It's a different texture than it's definitely it has a different texture. But yeah, anyway,
okay.
it's
So then
a soy wrap.
okay, I'm gonna
You have to
experiment with
try
that
it.
because I found those things out because, so Lori actually is interested in, like, Japanese food and, some uncooked foods like that, and so John suggested that we all get, poke together for lunch one day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited I get to show my in-laws poke, yay!" Lori loved it. Pastor and John, they got the beef bowls because. Yes,
Because it's
and
cooked and
and they enjoyed it, but yeah, I think, but then through that, I found out that Paso doesn't enjoy nori, so that's why I was gonna ask you about the
okay. We can
alternatives,
also,
and I can
you
make
know,
them
the other
for him.
Japanese foods, like we can, you know, you have the, well, I don't know if you have the recipes, but you know, I make the oyakudon and stuff
Yeah,
like that. That's chicken, and so you know, like also we can figure out how to we can make gyudon or something like that. So
yeah,
we can
you
get
don't
all
you
that
don't.
gyudon, so we can get the beef in there too. So we
Yes,
can do all kinds of. I can learn some more stuff. Like I said, I'm learning all kinds of stuff before we go, so that I can bring all the recipes out there.
yes,
So.
good job.
So then okay, other one, art. How's have I haven't heard about your student. How's
Yeah,
she
so
doing?
I didn't have my lesson last week
Oh,
because
yeah, that's
that was
right.
when we
True,
had
true.
left for
Yeah,
the
you were not.
thing, but I
Yeah.
had her this week,
Okay.
and, I think we've realized that the mom definitely needs to sit at some of the lessons because she's been struggling a lot more with, focusing because, the mom expresses to me that it's actually rare for her daughter to, talk a lot or like converse a lot with strangers or teachers really. But for some reason she loves talking to me, which I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that as a compliment, yes. But also she needs to focus on the lessons. And so she was like, how about I sit in at the lessons? I'm like, that would be great. So we're gonna be starting that. Um yeah.
Why? What does she get? What does she do? Like, I'm just interested. Like, what does the child like? What does she
Well,
just goes to
first of all,
talking about
she's very much an
herself?
auditory processor, so she needs to
Yeah,
tell
that's right.
me about what she's doing and what she's
Yeah,
thinking as
that's
she's
fair
doing
though,
it.
right? That's fine,
Yeah,
right?
that's fine. But then every
Okay.
once in a while it'll be like, "Oh, so that reminds me of this other thing that happened on this day, and then like this was so and so," and I'm like, "Who's so and so?" She's like, "My mom's friend." I'm like, "I don't know any of your mom's friends. I don't need to know this. What are you draw? Like, what are you doing?" Um, but then like she said something so funny. Actually, this past week she the mom had come in. She gave me the check for the month, and then she asked me how the wedding went because I explained to her that's why we were out last week. And then the daughter pipes up. She's like, "Oh, mom, I don't think I've ever been to a wedding before." And mom was like, "Yeah, I don't think you have." And she's like, and then the daughter goes, "Well, actually, I think I might have been. I was in your belly at your wedding." And then mom looks at me like, "That's not true. That's not true. No, Claire." She was like, "No, you were not." And then she's all like, "What do you mean, mom? You told me that when people get married, they have kids. So I wasn't in your belly at your wedding." I'm like, "Oh."
Okay. So you almost got in the middle of the birds and
I
bee
thought I was
conversation. You're
getting
like,
some, like, crazy something, and I was some drama, and the mom was just like, "I don't know what she's talking about. What's going on?"
oh,
So, she
okay.
has some of
Whew.
those moments, but overall, still, her progress has been good. She's I think, last week I definitely challenged her a little bit more 'cause, she definitely works a lot from the imagination, and she likes drawing scenes and things like that.
Mhm.
But I think I need to help her a bit with her, eye-hand coordination and, observational drawing skills. So that's what we've been doing.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so my other thing is how's social finding friends and social activities in your everyday life. That was my new thing instead of cooking. I
Yes,
asked. That's
yes.
my weekly update on that. How
Well,
that's
I mean,
going.
this is past weekend and
You were,
and
yeah,
all the other
that's
stuff.
true.
It's we haven't really had a chance to do that yet. But
Okay.
you did send me some of those resources, so I'm gonna be checking those out. And so
Yeah.
you'll probably be hearing some updates next week. So
Okay. Just remember my one. It's not even necessarily social. My other pitch to you is find a day, once a week, regular once a week day that you go to chapel at the seminary because
yes,
it's a great experience. It's really wonderful and it'll help your. It doesn't even have to be social, right? Because like you're not going to hang out and talk with people at
no,
church during chapel. But there is
sure.
a coffee hour after if you ever get sucked into that. But you can meet a couple. Like it's just a high meet in passing kind of thing. I saw pastor there a couple times when I visited out there. So there's just people there that you'll say you can just wave to, and if you go there, if you could go there regularly, then you'll see people and you can just say hi.
Yeah.
You'll recognize them and say hi.
Okay.
That's
Sounds good.
so that's a dad as and churchly kind of thing. In addition to your social thing, that's
Okay.
kind of different
Sounds good.
suggestion. You do what you need to do, and
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna try the chapel thing. We'll see how that goes.
yeah, it's fun. It's nice. It's really beautiful, and so because it's really because you go to something like our church, our home church, right? And you can hear pastor singing
Yes.
and Mrs. Skoglin, and then your sister,
Yeah.
and then most of the people are like, even if they have nice voices, they aren't that loud.
Right.
But you go to the seminary and you hear young men and young men singing very loudly, and it's like it's a different. You experience hymns very differently when you hear
Yes.
lots of people singing, and it's yeah. So just even for that. So anyway,
Anyway, okay. Moving on to you.
yes, no
You.
volcanoes this week.
No volcanoes. Oh no. So sad for you.
But I've been recording a lot of podcasts and stuff. I interviewed a circuit visitor from the English district,
Woo!
which is a and which is a non-geographical district. So it was interesting. That was fun. I also interviewed a vicar who he is going to do his vicarage in Germany.
Whoa.
So it's actually a 2-year commitment, but it's a vicarage. Like our vicars have been here 1 year, right?
Yeah.
If you go to a foreign vicar, do a foreign
You're
vicarage, you
gonna
have
be
to
there
do.
for a while.
Well, you have to do all this planning before you even go.
Yeah.
Because they have to set up infrastructure and stuff like that and things like so. But he was really fascinating. I did have my first technical difficulty when podcast recording.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a separate window with all my questions on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I not for ours, but for when I'm interviewing people.
Yeah.
And it was covering the recording screen, and then when I moved my window, there was a warning on the screen that said, the other guest's recording has stopped. And I'm like,
Oh no.
oh no, I don't know when it stopped. And I'm like, oh crap. And so then I said, I talked to him and, like I didn't even check. I was like, maybe it was way at the end or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, but no, it was halfway through it cut. And so
Oh
I'm like,
no.
oh, but we got really good stuff. The parts that I recorded were good. I'm just trying to work with him to figure out because the part that recorded was good.
Yeah.
It's just the second half that we added, there's additional stuff that was good too.
Right.
It's just like, I don't know if I want, how do you restart a conversation, that's authentic?
Yeah,
Like, 'cause if you ask the same question, it doesn't come out the same, right? So you're like,
Right,
I know
yeah.
that question already. I asked this question, I knew your answer. Like so it's hard. I'm trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, that was my first snafu. So now I know that I cannot cover, even if I'm need the questions up, I cannot put it in front of the recording thing because something important might flash.
Yes.
like the other person stopped recording. That was kind of important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wasn't good. I have, what else have I been doing?
Yeah.
I was trying to
Before
think
you
of.
wait, hold on. Before you get
Yeah,
onto
go
that, I
ahead.
was going to tell you. So you have a fan. John's been watching your stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's been lately just like complimenting you on your interviewing skills. You've been doing great. So
Oh,
good
thank
job.
you. Thank him. Yeah. You are coming in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I am.
You're coming out for your West Coast reception.
Yes.
And I'm very looking forward to our, your husband and I because now it's your husband, going to we go to the we take a walk over to our local brew pub and we hang out for a while, and then you guys come and pick us up because you usually need to drive us home.
Yes.
But but yeah, I'm looking forward. I've got all these. I've got the how is married life? I got
Yeah.
all the questions out of it because like I've always gone. He's been your fiance, he's been your boyfriend and stuff when we've gone over. But
Yeah.
now it's like a whole new thing. A whole set of questions.
Like, how is my daughter as a wife?
Yes. So I've been playing this all in my head. In addition to all the interviewing questions, I have I come up with my interviewing questions and stuff, and that actually sparks things like, well, what am I going to ask John about when he? so, yeah,
That's gonna be
my
fun. There you
my
go.
interviewing skills. So when we record,
Yeah.
right? I've mentioned to you before. It has like the colored of the colors of how much each of us is speaking.
Yes.
It's like when I see the recording, it says like I think I'm usually in green and you're in pink or something.
Yeah.
And so it shows. And sometimes like mom says gets mad, but like sometimes there's more of my speaking than
More
you.
green than pink.
So, but I try to give like. In your section, especially, there better be more pink than green, right? Because I shouldn't be talking over
Oh
you.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
But sometimes in the pop culture section, it gets overly dad. so, so
Even
so
when
I'm
it's
trying
like
to be
my time to do it.
yes, and I
You
recognize the
just you
my failings. Yes,
well, we both have this problem.
yes.
I'm just a little bit more wary of when I'm talking over people. You don't care. You're just gonna say it.
I'm just excited. Well, anyway,
Anyway.
as an interviewer, my goal is to like have like me be less than 20% of the thing is
Yeah.
me. That's my goal because I'm trying to my philosophy on the interviewing thing is like I'm trying to learn something, and really that's for me that I'm doing it because I'm trying to learn something, and I ask these people because I want to learn something. And if I'm talking about stuff, then I'm not learning about it. And
Yeah.
hopefully other people find it interesting too. And that's why, that's a show that people might be interested in because the stuff is interesting and had nothing to do with me really. It's just
Right.
like I kind of guide the conversation into the areas that I'm interested in, and hopefully other people think it's interesting. And
Mhm.
the whole reason I did it is so it's like the people can see other aspects of the synod because I'm interested in it here because I'd never talked to somebody from the English district in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what is that? What even happens out there? Is it like, like, is it as bad as out here? Is it as crazy? Is it like, what's it like out there? So that, yeah, that's why I'm doing it. And that's what's interesting to me. So I'm glad somebody, at least John, is interested. It makes it interesting for him. So, well, that's kind of like I almost could expect it because we are very similar. I mean,
Yes, that's why I wasn't see we John and I have talked about this before. I wasn't necessarily nervous about John meeting you guys. I was nervous because I knew how similar you and John were. So I was like, "Oh no, like because I feel like some people who are similar butt heads a lot more."
oh
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, "Oh no, I hope they don't butt heads." But no, you guys have a great thing where you guys go to your brew pub and you guys hang out and stuff. So,
yeah, I think
yeah.
it's the similarities are in the interests, and so therefore
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the similarities in like how we approach things because he approaches things very professorially. Right, like I said, we've talked
Yeah.
about this. He asks questions about things. He doesn't get excited like Dad, where he just goes like volcano.
Yes, John's a lot more subtle than
Yeah,
you.
so
Yeah, there is a clear
so
difference
but
in
if he
that,
was
yeah.
excitable and then I could see us like there could be times when we like
Oh, well,
clash.
yeah, you guys would be talking
Yeah,
over each other all the
yeah.
time,
Okay.
which I can't imagine John talking over
No,
anybody.
because
Half
he's
the
a
time, like,
professor.
if John catches himself talking over someone, he'll be like, "Oh, oh, you go ahead, go ahead."
Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
That's how you so then if it was you and him, you're green, he's blue, it'd be all green because 'cause he'd be like, "Oh, nope, you go, you go."
No, but when I'm with, but see, this is also our dynamic. When I talk to John,
Yeah.
it's like I want to hear from him. Not that I don't want to hear from you.
That's what I was like, "Excuse me?"
It's just joking. But no, I want to hear from him because the professorial aspect of the way he delivers, what his thoughts is, I sit back and listen to them. You and me, we're just like this is and I will say this: this is almost not problematic, but this is where we get ourselves into trouble. Is we feed off each other, right? And it's just like
Yeah.
it just goes off the rails, and that's that's where we get into trouble, and that's why we always got in trouble when you were little, is because we get excited and then we yell at each other.
Yep.
But
And then mom would be like, "Well, what's going on here, guys?"
so yeah, but as like you've said before, adult Emmy, now you're an adult, and so our thing was like there's a different understanding, and therefore it's just feeding off of it, but it gets the energy level just goes crazy, can go off the charts.
Yes, and I'm a lot better at moderating
I'm not.
because I know where your limit is supposed to be, and then I'm like, okay, just
Pull
stop.
back, Dad. Yeah.
Yes, chill. I forgot. I wanted to tell you about this because this is just a funny
Yeah.
story. So, when Pastor and Lori were here, there was so we ended up watching Fundamentals of Caring
Oh.
because they hadn't seen it before, and they loved it, which was awesome. But then there was a point where like we had to pause the movie because John had to
Oh.
pee, duh. And then Pastor and Lori Pastor gets out his Duolingo because Pastor and Lori are doing Spanish Duolingo, which is awesome
Oh,
because they want to talk more with their daughter-in-law
Yeah,
Carla,
yeah.
right? Which is
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Um, Dad, you mix the Midwestern accent with people trying to speak Spanish. Dad, I wish that you were there, because it's like,
Wisconsin
hold on.
Spanish. Yeah.
Dad, just give me like a simple, a sentence in English, and then I'll translate it to Spanish, and then I'll tell you what they do.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, so it's buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? They go, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? or it'll often be like, rojo. Like there's just like this an inflection that happens, and then like and it's specifically from Pastor that it cracks me up because he's just like rojo. Necesito bailar.
So it's like
I
mom.
can't even do it. It's so funny. And then it's just both of them doing it. And then, because they don't, I mean, they're learning from an app. And so it's difficult when you're not talking to someone directly. You can't, like quite catch like the isms. There are isms in every language. And it's difficult to catch on to those when it's just through an app. And it's just so funny. Because by like my favorite was when they so there's a word llamar, which is two double L's, so that they go lamar.
But you can't say. I was taught that you can say. It's like millionaire. So is the L-ish.
Millionaire. Yeah,
You can the double L can have that like slightly different pronunciation with the L.
It can, yeah. I mean, but
But not as
I've
L
learned
as
that
L.
it's like a regional
Ah,
thing.
yeah,
But
makes sense.
yeah, but no, I mean, if that is what makes it easier for people to speak it, then that totally makes sense. I mean, I'm not I'm not Spanish or Mexican, so I don't really have much to say on the matter. I'm just saying though, it's hilarious when I hear people with a Midwest accent.
Yeah.
That's what gets me about it, because it's in their accents, and
Yeah. No, that's the the combination of accents. I could see that as
no, it's crazy. Sorry, my camera is just
flopping
kind of
around.
going down a bit.
It's okay.
It was just
It's
kind of
okay.
going down. Okay,
It's okay. You're fine.
we're figuring it out. It's
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
It's okay. You keep going down. It's
Shut
okay.
up.
You just walk back further. Is Belle still around? Nope, I don't see her.
Oh. Okay, well, I left like my jacket on the chair, which I thought was just a mushy and stormy thing that I had to keep out for. Like, whenever I've put someone's put a jacket on a chair, they pull it down and they pee on it, right?
Yes, that's our boys.
So, but Belle, she'll kind of play with it and mess with it, and then she'll take it down, and then she'll lie and sleep on it. So that's what she's doing to my jacket right now. She's sleeping on my jacket.
They used to do that. Then they moved
Right,
on.
when they were
Yeah,
nice.
then they moved on to peeing on them.
And then they were,
Yeah, because
I don't know.
Oh. So let's see what else is going on. All the interviewing stuff is. But I am using my artistic talents. I'm just joking. but I'm using
Your art.
to make thumbnails and the shorts and all the things. It's
Oh.
not, like that. I don't think we consider that art, but I'm using AI for all
Well,
those things.
you are using AI as your
I am
tool,
using, yeah,
and
but those aren't
yes,
artistic. It is really just generating content.
it's like, okay, put in some words, and then there
In
you go,
theory,
make the image
yeah,
for
in
me.
theory, I could see how like shorts and thumbnails as an art form. Like thumbnails can be an art form as like you're trying to attract a certain attention and understanding of what's going on. Um, and then same thing with shorts. Like I could definitely see how that is a short film art form. It's like it could be, but the the problem is that just like everything else in this day and age, is that there's so much of it. There's no value in making it artistic, right?
Yeah.
There's you cannot justify the time it would take to put real artistic integrity behind all this content that's being created, because there's no I mean, it's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
So I guess some people would say that about, and we'll go to art, because I always I actually want to like make sure we are true to our roots. but but
That was
but but
that I had a visceral reaction in my body to that. That was a lot.
but like art, the art that you do is like there's there's time and effort and thought behind it, versus like
Mhm.
we've talked about AI. It's like you can just say, give me a beautiful scene with blah blah blah, and it comes up with an image. And is that art or not? Because based on the amount of time you put into it, is effort a factor in art?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, we had a whole episode on this before, where it's does putting in more effort into something make it that much more valuable, right? Because I mean, I've used this example before. Like, I can draw stick figures all day, right? I can make an entire mural of stick figures. Does that make it more impressive? Does that make it better than if I was to, I don't know, haphazardly like draw like a really realistic portrait of something, right?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the same thing with you know, when the this goes into like it- uh, I'm talking items in general. Like some
Mhm.
people, say, well, it took, like it's same thing with like a scarf. Like it took someone to, to knit a scarf took them 200 hours. That's exaggerating, but it took them forever to do it, right? And it's a scarf. And then some machine can spit it out in 2 minutes because it has and like is the one that took 200 hours worth more than the one that took 5 minutes or 2 minutes? It's like, well, what do you get? Is it the utility that you're looking for? Is it like craftsmanship? What do you look? Like it's
Right, but then we get into like the whole conversation around what worth is. Like, are we talking about monetary worth, or are we talking about like ethical or emotional worth or emotional weight?
yeah.
Right?
But then
Like, which of those is more
yeah.
valuable?
But there's also, I mean, it also in the end, not well in the well, I'm trying to think of the right way to place it. But in the financial end, the part that keeps you alive, right?
Yeah, right.
The $200, or the 200-hour scarf, like you can't justify putting that amount of effort in, because you can't make up that much money. You can't sell it for that. What would make you a living? You wouldn't be able to live off
Yeah.
scarves that take you 200 hours to make.
Yeah. Well, that's why like so many artists like, something that I'm trying to work on too is, when I do sell commissions, which is good. Like I do work on commission, but there's a certain but then if I have like back-to-back commissions at a time, then I'm like, "Oh, I can't really handle that." But so then that's why artists like they put out their other finished works of their own, and then they're like, "Okay, I'm going to sell prints of those." Right?
Have you looked into
So
that?
then but that doesn't mean that like you're not getting the art piece for what it's worth. Like it's still the work. It's just it's a print or a copy of it. But it's still like the artwork that you want from it. So
So have you looked at that, doing that kind of thing, that kind of work, or not? Not.
It's something that I've been researching as I've been building my
Okay.
website, my new
Okay.
website. Yes.
Good. Keep us updated on that, or
Yeah.
keep me updated anyway. Yes.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. Because I was gonna tell you this too. I've had a little breakthrough where I realized like I need to where I need to invest some time into making my own work. As great as it has been to do like the commission work, there needs to be a balance between that and then my own work and then creating prints off of those and then like being able to show that work on my
Awesome.
website. So
Awesome.
yes.
So, okay. So I have a combined uh, pop culture segment. Like it's kind of dovetails with what you just
Combined?
said a
Oh,
little bit, but more so. But it's more something else too. It's like it's combined. I'll explain it when I talk about it. So I can't.
that was
Yeah,
very
it is
vague.
quite
Okay.
vague.
Oh.
But I can't. I can't. There was a clip about all this stuff about after the assassination stuff. We talked about that, but the it's going back to social media itself. Like, should you like reconsidering social media at all? And especially
Mhm.
it's this gentleman named Cal Newport, who is a computer scientist at Georgetown. He does stuff on productivity and things like that. So he's always in the past he's talked about social media and how you can get sucked into it and how to avoid the being it becoming a time waster, right? So that was his main
Yeah.
thing. But now he's like, after all these events, the continued events, he's like, have we just haven't we just reached the point where it's like those things like Twitter, Blue Sky, threads, those kind of he called them curated conversations, where you get your feed is all there's an algorithmic feed that like it ends up being just rage bait, like we've talked about. It just that's what keeps people on those platforms, and that's what you're going to get
Yeah.
fed. And that's no matter how you try to curate them, they're just going to turn into that. And that just because the algorithm itself is designed to keep you engaged, and that what ends up keeping you engaged is rage. And so he's
Yeah.
like, he's like, at this point, he does not see them as being redeemable. It's like the only real option is to quit. And you just have
Yeah.
to, the problem is people just don't, there's still the fear of missing out part with, because like there's stuff going on. Yeah,
FOMO.
FOMO. There's still stuff going on, and I need to know about it. Or that's how I get my news. And so they don't listen to they don't trust any mainstream news, and then they don't they want their own news. They want to curate their news sources, and they do it through Twitter. And so they can't get off of it. And so he's like, no, at this point there is just, even that, you just need to find different ways of getting your news, because that system is just irredeemable. That's his thought.
And yeah, and then, that's a good point to bring up because I feel like that is one of the a huge one like a huge factor into why our generation is so narcissistic, right? If you go online and this is where these are places where you get your news source, and then there's always something about, oh, like now it's untrustworthy because blah blah blah, it doesn't but then it turns out it doesn't agree with me, right? The news doesn't agree with me versus I don't agree
Yeah.
with the news, right? um and then it turns into, okay, well now I'm going to become my own source of my information, and that is my truth, and so you have to respect that, right? Like that, because I feel like it's already been like talked about how like social and there's that trope of like social media kind of distorting your lens on reality, and like creates an ungroundedness within you and your conscious, but then yeah, then it just like snowballs into this huge thing, especially with like with news and getting all these things, and then also like wanting to fight back against like people in the comments, right? um like there's always going to be like the whole point of social media is for anybody and everybody to say their opinion on something, right? John and I were literally just talking about this like a couple weeks ago. Like there's free speech exists for a reason, but and so everybody has a right to comment on your comments, and that's fine. But then when you take that and then you just go, oh no, like nothing can affect me, like I'm right, all those things, then that's where you get your downfall, and then you're like, no, I need to like go outside and like interact with actual real people rather than just hiding behind like a computer screen and just rage
Yeah.
typing something, you know?
Yeah, completely. And so that's so like I said, his thesis is that you just have to quit them. And that's I actually so I can't quit them right sorry, I don't mean it I'm not addicted to them. I can't for the purpose of this podcast and the other podcasts that I'm doing, I have to use them as channels for distribution, right? I put the shorts out, the reels,
Right.
the those kind of things. But I don't look at them other than to post those things. So I don't do anything except for post. The thing, the
Yep.
our our shorts that I generate, the post itself that shows the podcast episodes and stuff like that. That's all I do now. I do not engage in the comments or look for the comments or anything. I just put and so that's it's he talked about this because he does not do any of that either, but it's a slower path to growth, right? Because how do you get people to
Yeah.
click on your stuff? It's like you engage with them and you're sucked into the comment back and forth, right? So
Yes.
it all the stuff that we're doing, I do is it relies on it being good and getting better and being useful in standalone, not because it's well,
Yeah.
like I said, I did once like AI generated a real good clickbait title and that posted well because it did it. But
There you
like
go.
I'm not, like I will let AI do clickbaity things, but I'm not going to engage in clickbaity, engagement.
Right. Right, yeah. It's honestly, it sounds very similar to what my relationship with social media has become, as of now, which is, I do have Instagram and I do, like, have people that I follow from, like, back in California that, like, I'll check up on or, look at their posts and just to see what they're up to, whatever. Um, but then every once in a while, they'll post something to their story that's news related, or there's some sort of article about something happening, or they'll like post a caption, giving their thoughts about a certain event. But then I don't. But then instead of staying on social media, that's the problem. When you hear about when someone hears something about something happening in the news, they stay on social media to find more information about that news. No, I get off of the app entirely, and then I go and find different sources where I actually get to understand what's actually happening here before, going into, okay, so what are people saying
It,
about this, right? Because if you just go based off of what everybody else is saying about it, you're not going to get to the root of what's happening, and then that's where everybody gets the whole thing of like, oh, thoughts and prayers don't do anything. Oh no, he deserved to die because he was an awful person, and I'm like, and you know what was so funny about that whole thing? I feel like barely anybody knew who he was. And then this happens, and then they find out, and then they do like a quick Google search, and then like CNN's already written a whole thing about like,
agitate
yeah,
right
well,
wing
he also
agitator, blah
he
blah.
was
Yeah.
literally at like a college campus and he was talking about gun control and how he advocates for guns, and then at the same time there's a school shooting that happens and like, oh, see, he wanted those kids to die, and it's like, well, then that now
Yeah.
we've lost the plot,
Well,
you know?
but that is a good way to put it. It's like all you get from those is what people are saying about it. You don't get the news; you get what
Yeah,
people are saying about the news. That's really what all those
yeah,
platforms are doing at this point. And that's that that conversation or that back and forth is what gets people rage baited and keeps them on the platform because they're just sucked into it, into the endless, you know, arguing and yelling to it's because they can just yell. And like you said, you're not engaging with real people. They whether some of them are really actually bots, but some of them are real people, but they're all personas, online personas. They're not like they would never
right.
have this kind of conversation in person. You would not talk to anybody
No,
like this
absolutely not.
in person. So you need to go find a real person that disagrees with you or has whatever. But if you talk to them, it's not going to come out in the same rage baity yelling, stuff like, the way it turns out online.
Yeah, but now unfortunately there are people that do talk the same way out in the real world because
Because
they, like I said, lens of reality shattered.
no,
They yeah.
that's a really good point too. Yeah, it has it
Yeah,
online has become so real to them that they can move their persona and use it in real life.
right,
That's
yeah.
terrifying.
Right. But, when I say that, I don't mean to that as a discouragement to anybody trying to, go out and make friends. Like I do recognize that that is a very real part of like why I do get anxious about like meeting new people because I've seen how people have interact online and then, worrying that like something like that might happen and then running into and then but then there's also the idea of like people get so invested in like socializing, I put that in quotes, socializing online that it's difficult for them to invest that same energy into meeting other people in real life. And so then there comes like me who's like, okay, I want to get invested in this thing, but then I feel like nobody else is, and then I get anxious and I'm like, is there something wrong with me or is it your social media usage? I don't know.
Well, I would say at this point, I mean, never assume that there's something wrong with yourself. I know it's a little
Yeah,
narcissistic
at this
sounding,
point,
but it's
dude,
like,
I'm good.
no,
I'm good.
like you talk to enough people. You talk to your husband, you talk to me, you talk to your mom, you talk to your sister, you talk to whatever, other people,
Yeah.
and you're like, it's.
I talk to my
You're
in-laws.
pretty
Yeah.
normal. It's like you can engage with people in a normal fashion. It's just
I don't have to draw in a
yeah.
corner
No,
anymore, Dad. I
you're
can
talking
just
to people
engage with
and so
people.
like and so you know what normal conversations are and if other people are having trouble
Yes.
with that, it's probably they're not used to having them at all. So like don't take it as it's something something on you. One thing that I was very fascinating. I went out with our vicar. I took him to dinner last week.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you
Yeah.
about
Well,
that.
we
Yeah.
we went to dinner at at Royal Taj, our favorite, like basically home style Indian place, and we sat
Yeah.
there for we went to dinner at 6:30. We sat there till 9 o'clock. We just talking. We just actually just
Whoa!
talking. And for your dad, that's a lot of talking. That's a lot. But it was like
That I was gonna say, wow, how'd you survive that? How did he survive
you'd have
you?
to ask him about that part. when you
Okay.
when you when you meet him, you'll have to tell you how did you survive my dad for 2. But no, it was just like it
Yeah.
was very. We disagreed on some things, but we just talked about stuff, and it's like, well, okay, I have a different opinion on that, and it's like, so you just. It does. It's not like online where I have a different opinion. You should be thrown out of the church. Like that's how I've gotten into conversations on online. It's like, well, you disagree about this. I don't know how you can say that you're a Christian or something it's like oh my gosh really.
Right.
So we did disagreed on some certain aspects, but largely I mean obviously like anyone else in our denomination we largely agree on every, the important things. There's a like slight difference in like how you would apply this practically, and that's really all
Yeah.
that there typically is with us is that it's a difference in how we would apply something. And so we just talked about stuff. We talked about we talked about how people's reaction. We talked about social media. We talked about like once again dad has all his crazy ideas about like podcasting and stuff like throughout like going to not me going to seminary but being at the seminary and like helping seminarians learn how to do podcasting and social media and stuff like that. And he's like all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and we just talked about it. He gave me ideas on things, and I talked to him about what I thought about and I asked him a lot of questions about how he got to where he is and his family and stuff. And so it was just
Yeah.
talking to people, which is weird for dad, but it
Yes.
really worked. We were there for 2.5 hours and it was not awkward. It's
No, that's amazing, dude. That's awesome.
You're like, oh my gosh, my dad's talking. Yeah, like you said, you have to ask him how he survived 2.5 hours of your dad, because I don't think you guys could.
No, seriously, that's gonna be my first question. We'd be like, "Hi, nice to meet you, Vicar. So you talked with my dad for 3 hours. Are you okay?"
Ah, yeah, yeah. So okay, so the other aspect of the social media stuff was yeah no,
Okay,
it's
there's
like
more.
well, social media it's time management, right? Because it can be a time suck, right? Social media can like you can get
Yeah,
lost in it, and you can over use do it too much, and you waste time and stuff like that. So we were talking. I
sure.
was talking to you. It's like your how's your time management as a as a wife, as now John's away. How's that going for you?
Oh, yes. So this is another thing. Yes. So I think so that was something that I was struggling with for a minute just with the excitement of getting moving out and getting into a new house and but now that we had pretty much like everything set up here, I'm like, "Oh, well, what do I do?" Because before it was like, okay, we had like different tasks that
Mm.
we had to do and things that we had to, like a checklist that we had to get done in a certain amount of time. And then I was like, oh shoot, I should get back into that checklist mentality because that really helped us with getting so much done. I mean, I told you, like, we got the house set up in like
Mhm.
2 weeks or
Mhm.
less, right? Like because I realized like we went by like a checklist mentality, and I'm like, oh no, I'm realizing like that's actually a really good mentality for me to have now when I do stuff. So I'm like, okay. So before I had a bullet journal where I would just write down what I did for the day, but I'm like, oh no, 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 I need to write down what I'm going to do for the day, not what I've already done. Because when I look, because I realize like when I've done that, I either I it's 2 ways. I either look back and go, "Oh, I didn't do enough," and then I beat myself up for it, and then I'm like, "Okay, I gotta do more the next day." Or it's, "Oh, wow, I did a whole ton. I can give myself a break." But then that break turns into, like, either scrolling on social media or, like, playing, like, video games or, like, mobile games or something like that, right? And then I don't have, like, an idea of how long it's gonna be. I don't set a timer. I'm just like, I'm just gonna just enjoy my time because I'm giving myself a break. But then yeah, like that break turns into way too long. So now I'm like, okay, so now each day I set up like a checklist of things that I know that I need to get done, and those are the checklist ones. And then in between those, I'll write little bullet points of like, these are things that I've considered doing. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time for that day, but something to consider, something that I should probably like implement somehow into my schedule. I mean, like a sort of like a suggestion to
Mm.
myself, right? So that's what I've been working on. And also, a really sweet thing that John still does is he writes a little sticky note and puts it on my desk almost every morning. And he's I feel like it especially started once he started going back to work. But and also because we discovered that a great way for me to get better about eating and being more healthy in the morning, because I struggle with eating breakfast sometimes, is making smoothies for me. So what he'll do is he'll now do a little sticky note that says like, gives me like a numbered list of like, number 1, don't forget there's a smoothie in the fridge for you. Number 2, don't forget to do this today. And number 3, I love you the mostest, right? Like that's his little thing, yeah. And then I'm like, okay. And then that little, there's a little boost of energy there of like, oh, my husband also has like a little list for me. So I'm gonna add that to my list for myself. And then that makes me just feel so much better. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get so much done and I feel productive, and yay.
Ah,
Yay.
that's wonderful. That is like really, this is the. He's once again. No, no, I'm not going to cry or
Uh-oh.
something. No, I'm just thinking he is just like once again, his the way that he approaches things is just works really well for you. Because dad has always tried to do something along
Yes.
these lines for all of you. Where like, okay, here's the things that you should do. Here's possibilities that you could, and it doesn't work. It's not. Dad is not the guy. Dad is not your husband, and that's right. But your husband is the right person for to get you to see how life is structured and works, and he knows you well, and how like
Yes.
those little things to some people could like freak them out, but for you it's just the right amount of I done something for you. We need to do this, and just you're the reason he does all this is because he just loves you so much, and it's like,
Yes.
and you two match up that well, and like it just like I said, I could never figure out how to get you to do anything. Not that I'm trying to get you to do stuff, but it's like, I always like bullet journals. Like, I give you all the things. I give you all these options of. Yeah, yeah, no,
And I
yeah.
did try
Well,
that, and I
so
did
I'm going
try
to
that.
suggest another thing is bullet journal. I'm not. Oh my gosh, not time block. Yeah, time
You
blocking.
just said.
Have you? So that is
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
so these, this, I'm going to do the tasks. I have this block of time to do the tasks. Right. And then you can have the time block. This is X, time 10 to 11 is I'm working on tasks, and then but like, so
Yeah.
then you can schedule and know when you're going to take your break because you still need a break. So from 11 to 11:30, I'm gonna take my or 11 to 11:45, I'm gonna eat and play 10 minutes or whatever time of video games that or Duolingo or whatever thing you're gonna do. So you have that like downtime
Yeah.
scheduled, so then it doesn't get out of control, out of hand. That's where that yeah, scheduling the
Yes.
downtime, and
Schedule the
so then you
downtime.
don't.
Yeah.
So yet again, another option that you will figure out with your husband whether it works. Not with not listen to your dad because it will work.
I'm gonna tell my husband what the suggestion for my dad was, and then he'll be like, and then he'll say it, and then
Well,
I'll go, ah,
it's
yes.
not that he'll say it's not. I don't. I trust him that it's
No, he'll put it on a sticky note, and then I'll be
because
like, yes.
he'll incorporate it into your life in a way that I have no idea how it hits right for you, but I have no idea how to tell you how to incorporate it because we're just so me and you, we're so different. I can't come to this. We never get to the same. We never do things the same way. We get to the
Yeah.
same places, but we don't do them in the same way at all.
Similar enough. We're similar enough. There, but then the differences, and then I'm like, okay, where? Hmm.
Yes, that is completely us. Yeah, that is the
That's the
conclusion, Dad.
conclusion.
We are yeah, we're father daughter, and that is like that's what we are. 'Cause we're just like it's just
Yeah. Did you see on one of our most recent episodes? Just a random person commented, "Wow, you look so much like your dad! Yay!" And I was like,
I was like, oh my gosh, no, thank you.
"It's like, ew. What are you talking about? What do you mean I look like my dad? I don't want to look like my dad. No."
All right, dear. I think we got to wrap it up. I think I have something I got to do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and my battery's running low. Like on my computer, not me. I'm good. I can go
All
on
right,
for a
dear.
while,
I
but
love you.
yeah.
Thank you for doing this. I always have so much fun.
I love you, Dad.